Charlie?
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome to the program on your Thursday afternoon. So glad. You don't know how much joy it brings me to spend my afternoons with you folks. It is absolutely amazing. We appreciate you tuning in. Well, you just heard that former Representative Chris Murphy was found dead in his home last night, only 58 years old. Man, that is way too young, guys. Way too young. So thoughts and prayers go out to his family, friends, and loved ones. Again, former State Representative Chris Murphy passing away at the age of 58. That's hard news to hear. Well, we all know about the Senate race here in South Carolina. Coming up at 4:35, we're going to be talking with Duke Buckner, who is also running for the Senate. Now, as far as we know, the only person that I know of, and I can absolutely verify, that has gone to the election office and filed is Mark Lynch. Now, I know a lot of people are out there saying, I'm running, I'm in. I know that Russell Fry is saying that. I know that Ralph Norman is. I mean, they're running. I just don't know if they've made it by the office yet. They've got until Tuesday to do that. But Russell Fry, so you got Duke Buckner, who we'll talk to, is saying he's running. Russell Fry. You've got, of course, Darlene Graham. You've got, who else? I know I'm missing somebody else here, but you kind of get the point. No, not Jim DeMint. JJ just said, what about Jim DeMint? Jim DeMint has actually endorsed Ralph Norman for this race. But there's somebody else that is announcing that they are running, and let's take a listen to his announcement today. Wait a minute, hold on, doggone it. I had all that set up. Here we go. Here's the announcement.
I'm Mark Sanford. Lindsay's death is a reminder to all of us of how short and precious life is. My own dad got Lou Gehrig's disease when I was in high school, and this notion of all of us having just a little time has always hit me hard. We're stewards of our lives and the things that we love for just a short time. I'm now a dad and a granddad, and I'm worried for our children because for the first time, America is borrowing from the future faster than we're building it. We'll add about $1 trillion to the national debt over the next 100 days, and if left unaddressed, that debt will crush our economy, it'll wipe out our savings, and it could even destroy our republic. Our ability to afford things, inflation, and the way people struggle to build a life are but symptoms of spending beyond our means as a country. We're at a tipping point, and that's why I've decided to run for the U.S. Senate. I'd ask that you look at my record in Congress and as governor in watching out for your family's future. I was ranked first in all of Congress in efforts to protect your wallet or pocketbook. As governor, we held the line on spending as no governor before or since has ever done. We acted as a steward, whether in reforms of government, and things like your time at a DMV office, or in protecting the lands of South Carolina that so many of us have walked, hunted, or fished on over the years.
All right,
I won't belabor the point.
Well, wait, hold on. That's Mark Sanford announcing that he is running for governor. I'm sorry, I'm not announcing, running for the Senate in South Carolina. But here's my biggest fear about Mark Sanford. He is going to be another anti-Trump individual. He's going to be another Thomas Massie. He's going to be another person that gets in there and fights Trump tooth and nail at every single turn. So he would be somebody that would vote for a government shutdown for the wrong reasons. He would side with the Democrats. So, and then, of course, we've got the whole Appalachian Trail scandal over Mark Sanford, where he just kind of disappeared for a few days. His office said he was hiking the Appalachian Trail when he wasn't. He was actually with his paramour, his lover. So I don't know. The last time Mark Sanford ran for an office, you guys might remember, he ran against Donald Trump for president of the United States. Well, I interviewed Mark Sanford, and I said, is this I was off the air. I was like, is this are you really running? Or is this more of a symbolic campaign. And he told me it was just a symbolic campaign. And that told me what I needed to know about Mark Sanford. He was never serious about it, never serious about the job. He was just doing it to kind of try to strike out at Donald Trump. Now, does he say some correct things about spending? Absolutely right. Absolutely. I agree with that. But the big question is, what are you going to cut? What are you going to be screaming about cutting? That's what I really wanted. It's one thing to say we've got to cut expenses, but it's another thing to decide what expenses need to be cut. That's the big question. So I'd like to know, what do you guys think about Mark Sanford running for the Senate here in South Carolina? Charlie, Senator Sanford, just think of the savings. He can fly to South America, meet as many women as he wants. Charlie, the Argentina tail-chasing Sanford is running. Yes, that's exactly right. So there you go. So, yep, he's announcing he's running. Let's go to Steve in Piedmont. Steve, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Charlie? First time caller here.
Right, you're going to get the bell. There you go, man. What's up?
Okay, I just wanted to correct something for you, if I could, please.
Okay.
Because I looked it up last night. Actually, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 who have already registered according to the state election commission.
Okay.
It's Duke Buckner, Mark Lynch, Mark McBride, Clark Nielsen, and Samuel Shepard. That's as of right now.
I'm sorry. 5 people have already
registered.
What are the chances the chances are 100% this thing goes to a runoff, right? I mean, that's what, $10,400. That's a good chunk of change for each one of them. So, yeah, we're going to a runoff. We're not going to stop voting till the 25th.
Well, as many of them as I've never heard of before. I've heard of Duke Buckner and Mark Lynch. I supported him at one point.
Right.
And now, as far as Mark McBride, Clark Nielsen, and Samuel Shepard, I have no clue who they are. So we may well have another 10, 12 people
We could.
sign up.
We
over
could.
With.
You're right about that,
yeah.
Steve. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Let's go to Fred in Greenwood. How you doing, Fred?
Good. I'd just like to say one thing.
Yes.
Trey Gowdy, put your name in the hat.
All right, we will talk about that coming up in just a little bit, Fred. But here's what I want to know, and maybe Fred, I'll allow Fred to call back after we give you this story coming up after the bottom of the hour. Why Trey Gowdy? Question: what has Trey Gowdy ever done successfully? That's what I want to know, and that's a legitimate question. So you guys out there, you Gowdyites, you go ahead and get ready, because I'm going to ask you that question coming up right around 3:35. Why Trey Gowdy? Let's go to Don, and let's talk about Darlene Graham. Don, welcome.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
I listen to you a lot. I have one question. Okay, it's in reference to Darlene Graham, as she is entering the Senate race under Darlene Graham.
Right.
Why is she not using her last name, which is Nordunn,
Right.
her married name? Is this a case of everybody going to have mercy on her because she's running that? And if she was running under the other name, nobody would know who she is? I'm just questioning.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, that is her brand now, I guess. That's her brand. But from what I did hear, there are some, like on some websites and things like that, and some other papers that she has filed, she doesn't use the Nardone very much. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
I appreciate it, pal.
Thanks.
Thank you. But it's more of a brand than anything else. When we get back, believe it or not, some Republicans are getting squishy on immigration. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Mark Levin. Join me tonight at 7 following Charlie James for the Mark Levin Show, a News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
happen, type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Something about Republicans. Something that isn't good. In the last election, the number one issue across the board with not only Republicans, but Democrats as well. This is a huge issue with Democrats. And I'm not talking about the crazy Democrats. I'm talking about, your run-of-the-mill Democrat voter. Everybody was concerned about immigration, illegal immigration. We all know that Joe Biden and Merrick Garland and Mayorkas, they just threw the gates open at our southern border and allowed anybody and everybody that wanted to come in this country, hey, come on in. So they come in, they would come in contact with Border Patrol. Border Patrol would write them a little ticket and say, all right, you've automatically got parole. Now, we'll get in touch with you. Oh, by the way, here's a cell phone. We'll get in touch with you on that app on the cell phone, and then you'll come back to your court date. And who knows when that would be? Years, probably. Because the Biden administration also did not hire immigration judges or appoint immigration judges to handle all the workload. Okay. So anybody, murderers were coming in, rapists, child traffickers, drug traffickers, gang members, cartel members, all of these people were crossing our border, and we are paying the price for it pretty heavily right now. So it was a huge issue. And that is really why, one of the reasons why President Trump and a lot of these members of the House and Senate are even in the positions that they are in. Because the American people wanted something done about immigration. In Minnesota, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, is running for governor in Minnesota. And according to Cauchy, he's got a 48% chance of winning. 48% chance. Well, maybe not anymore. Because Mike Lindell has announced an amnesty program that he wants to implement in Minnesota. That's right. That's right. A 6-month amnesty and conditional work visa plan for undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens. Mike Lindell outlined the plan for a 6-month moratorium on deportations in Minnesota, during which undocumented migrants without serious criminal records would register, submit fingerprints, and undergo background checks to receive did you hear what I said? Non-expiring conditional work visas. Under his plan, participants would not gain voting rights or formal citizenship, but they would legally be allowed to work and pay taxes. Lindell said that any employer caught continuing to pay undocumented workers in cash after a 6-month registration window should force jail or prison time. Well, conservatives are like, wait a minute, hold on. That's ridiculous. You're granting amnesty to these people, which is exactly what he wants to do. This is an amnesty. This is how, please understand this, this is how we got into that whole DACA mess to begin with. You can't deport these children, so we're going to defer their deportation. We're going to put it off for a little while. That's what the D in DACA stands for, deferred. So, we're not going to make you leave the country right now, but we will eventually, fingers crossed. Well, they haven't. So even Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, is getting extremely squishy on immigration. Now, let's get back to DACA. It was on this program a couple of weeks ago. We were talking with Congressman William Timmons, and we were talking about the Save America Act. And, folks, let me tell you something. He said something that shocked me. In fact, I had to ask him to repeat himself when he said it. He said one of the things, one of the pieces of leverage that the Republicans have over the Democrats on the Save America Act were the DACA recipients. And he insinuated that we, or should I say the Republicans, could offer, are you ready for this? Amnesty to DACA recipients in exchange for the Save America Act. Congressman Timmons said that not once, but twice on this program. I truly don't get it. I don't get why we're being so soft on immigration. Well, I do. I kind of get it. I get it just a little bit. Because while Americans are for it, while Republicans are for it, the mainstream media is against it. And the mainstream media has been raking the Republicans over the coals over illegal immigration and over all of these ICE roundups and these ICE investigations, and anywhere ICE shows up, they're always there. Oh, sorry, there's another shooting. ICE just shot somebody else. I forget where it was, but the guy pulled a knife on ICE agents, so they dispatched him. Well, that's what you get. That's what anybody gets when they pull a knife on a law enforcement officer. You try to run a law enforcement officer over with your car, you get dispatched. They put a hole in your face. That's just what happens when you do it. You pull a gun on a law enforcement officer, I don't care if they're ICE or the sheriff's department, they're going to take care of you. But it's always ICE. ICE was always the bad guy. So now what did they try to do? They gave me Mark Wayne Mullen said, "Oh, we're not doing any traffic stops anymore." And President Trump said, "Like hell, we're doing them. I'm overriding you on this one." So pretty amazing that we've got these Republicans. And listen, I got to tell you this. They're not the only examples. I will guarantee you, if you could get a serious answer from members of Congress, a 100% honest answer, if you gave them sodium pentothal, the truth serum, and they could not tell a lie, they would tell you that they're not that hard-lined against immigrants, illegal immigrants. They are just, they're play acting. They're play acting. Charlie, we've been sold out by the Republicans. Sorry to say it. I am too. I'm sorry to hear it, and I'm sorry to say it. But it happens every single day. Every single day. Now we're hearing that John Thune, they just put this Save America Act in a reconciliation bill. Now, first of all, what they did was they watered it down. Mike Johnson watered it down to make it where states turning over their voting rolls was optional. No, that was a key thing to remove the illegally registered voters. So now Mike Johnson wants to make it optional. Then we got John Thune, who's just threatening to strip that out of the bill and not even bring it up until September. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Charlie, have you verified that and fact-checked that Mike Lindell is actually in favor of amnesty? Well, let me just say this. I said it, didn't I? I said it. It's right there. But if you want more verification, how about the Washington Examiner? How about that? How about CBS News? It's everywhere. Just look it up. All you got to do is Google it. Fox 9 in Minneapolis. Yeah, that is exactly what he said. I always check my facts. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When Charlie's not teeing off on the left, he's teeing off on the links. You're in full swing on the Charlie James Show.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Everybody knows that we got all these people running for the Senate here in South Carolina. Right now, the only people that have officially filed, according to the South Carolina Election Commission, are Duke Buckner, who we're going to be talking with at 4:35, Mark Lynch, Mark McBride, former mayor of Myrtle Beach, Clark Nielsen, and Samuel Shepard. Those are the 5 people that have actually gone down to the election office and paid the, wrote the check and filed for this race. But, I mean, 3 of these 5, most people have not even heard of. I mean, Mark McBride, unless over in Myrtle Beach or in the Grand Strand area, probably never heard of him. Clark Nielsen, Samuel Shepard, like to know more about these guys. But there was a poll done here recently, and we're going to see some of these coming up. I think a lot of people are getting ready for a lot of this polling, and some of these people are going to be buying it themselves, but still. There was a poll done by John Parker. He is a South Carolina political strategist, and he's got a poll out that says that Ralph Norman is leading all of the named Republican candidates. This is according to Fitz News. Ralph Norman right now has 18.6% support, followed by Darlene Graham Nardone at 16.3%. Russell Fry comes in third at 11%, 11.7%. Mark Lynch comes in at fourth place with 8.6%. Nancy, she's got other people on this list that aren't even running. We haven't heard anything from Pam Avett. And, of course, Mark Sanford just announced that he's running, although he hasn't filed yet. But there's another poll out that is even more interesting, and I'll tell you about that as soon as we talk to Wes in Greer. Wes, welcome. How are you?
Good, Charlie. I hope you are.
Yes, sir.
Can I just throw this out there quick?
Okay.
Mark Sanford, get a life, man.
I agree.
What is wrong with that man? Okay, listen. George Washington, the greatest American ever, stood up there. Have you ever read his farewell address where he chastised everybody in there?
Yeah.
And said that he couldn't believe that you idiots were trying to make me a king after all the blood and treasure we just spent. And he said, look here, biggest mistake, the only mistake they made, Charlie, no term limits on anybody but the president.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Well, because they didn't think that hey, we're going to get people in there for 60 years.
Yeah, you were supposed to. If you read what they were hoping that a guy who let's just say it's Ike at the convenience store, for the Waltons. Ike would get elected. He would go there because he would know what people need on Walton's Mountain. He lived there. He would go. He would a term or two. He would take care. He would go home, and the people would replace him with a new person.
Exactly.
I mean, these lifelong people, not to mention what he has done.
Yeah.
You have no shame, man.
Yeah,
go away.
He expects everybody to forget. I appreciate it, Wes. But here's the thing, though. If I had Mark Sanford's money, and he's got money, if I had Mark Sanford's money, I mean, he's got a farm in the Low Country. You don't get a farm in the Low Country if you don't have money. If I had Mark Sanford's money, you wouldn't even hear from me again. I wouldn't have social media. I'd probably have a landline. That'd be it. Call my buddy Pat on occasion. That'd be it. I'd be gone. Enjoying my life. But that's the thing. Power is a hell of a drug. And these people are addicted to it. Addicted to it. That's why they can't let it go, man. They can't let it go. No, oh, man, I remember the day when I could have done this, and I was getting invited to this party and that gala and this event. Oh, it was a... let's go to Gene in Lawrence. Gene, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for taking the call. I want to comment on the midterms coming up.
Okay.
I'll be 70 my next birthday, okay?
All
I've
right.
always lived in upstate. Had the same address my entire life, pretty much. And so I got a lot of friends in upstate. And I always voted conservative, since I've been able to. But I'm afraid the Republicans are going to lose. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because it's long history, people vote with their billfolds. I just drove down 385, and two of the big brand names has got diesel for $5.20 a gallon.
Yep. We got to
That
get.
makes groceries goes up. Everything moves with diesel. Trucks, ships, trains, and so
Tractors.
they need to pull it. They need to do something before the election and get this fuel price down, or they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
But I've got friends that's always voted conservative as threatening to try somebody else.
I don't think people are going to get out there and vote for the Democrats. I think they're just not going to vote.
I do too. Think it's just going to sit it out, which might well be a vote for
Yeah,
the other side.
you're right. You're right, Gene. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. You're exactly right. So another poll, let's get back to the Senate race here in South Carolina. There's another poll out there that kind of is extremely interesting. According to who did this poll, there's a firm, it was a Republican-aligned firm called Peak Insights. They've got Trey Gowdy leading for potential Senate candidates 38%. 38% for Trey Gowdy. Ralph Norman comes in second with 13%. Russell Fry at 9%, Darlene Graham at 9%, Mark Lynch at 7%, and then they've got Nancy Mace and Mark Sanford. Mace is at 6%, even though she's not running. And this was done the July 18th through the 20th, and Mark Sanford comes in at 4%. So here's my question, and since this whole thing started, I've had a lot of people over on the text line. They were like, hey, we want Trey Gowdy, Trey Gowdy. We would love to have Trey Gowdy. Let me ask you something. What's Trey Gowdy done? Legitimate question. Legitimate question here. I'm asking you, Trey Gowdy supporters, what has he done? I mean, other than do a lot of talk, other than be on CNN, what is Trey Gowdy actually, what great feat has he done? Not only for the people of South Carolina, but also for our nation as a representative. What's he done? Where is he? I mean, we saw him during the Benghazi hearing. Nothing happened there. Nothing happened. We saw him during the Hillary Clinton email server scandal. Nothing happened there. Absolutely nothing. He even came out a few weeks ago criticizing President Trump's peace deal, so-called peace deal with Iran, and the deal had not even been released yet. And then Trey Gowdy actually scuttled an investigation. Okay, so there was an investigation about the FBI's role in the whole Russia, the Russiagate scandal, which we now know was a bunch of BS. There was an investigation into that. Trey Gowdy had that investigation shut down. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you believe that Trey Gowdy would do away with the filibuster to pass the Save America Act? Do you think that would happen? Because I don't believe it would happen. Because I think Trey Gowdy is too much of an institutionalist. Well, this is the way we've always done it, so this is the way we're going to. I think he's too much of an institutionalist to actually do away with the filibuster. Let's go to Mark in Pickens. Mark, welcome.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, no, this is Charlie, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, Charlie. Listen, I'll tell you what Trey Gowdy has done. Nothing. The only thing Trey Gowdy has done is bring down the prices of Great Clips. He sponsored no bills. He supported no legislation that I know of. He talks about being a prosecutor, but I don't know. He's an insider. He is all he wanted to ever do is have to have a talk show. So absolutely, Trey Gowdy, he's like Mark Sanford. Mark Sanford walked off the job Trey Gowdy never did the job. So hard no on both of them.
There you go. All right. I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones. We're going to talk to Mark in Greenwood. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, Charlie. This is
bud.
Jeff.
Jeff, how you doing?
Yeah. All right. Trey Gowdy. I don't think so. He's more worried about Trey Gowdy than us as constituents, I believe. Never saw a TV camera or a haircut he didn't like.
Isn't that the truth?
I mean, that dude, he was on crime shows back when he was a solicitor, being on TV shows. I think that's his concern is Trey Gowdy. I don't think he...
Yeah, I agree. I agree with 100%, Jeff. I appreciate your call. And if you, just in case you're wondering, well, I believe Senator Trey Gowdy would be, are you ready, worse than Senator Lindsey Graham. I truly believe that. Absolutely. I want you to listen to what Trey Gowdy said on Fox News.
Our system is reactive. Something bad happens, we react to it. And what people are crying for now is how can we prevent this? How can we stop it? And the only way to stop it is to identify the shooter ahead of time or keep the weapons out of their hands. And so we're going to have a conversation of freedom versus protecting children. I mean, how many school shootings does it take before we're going to have a conversation about keeping firearms out? It's always a young white male, almost always. I mean, did anyone this morning think, I wonder if that was a female? Did any of y'all think that? I mean, there's been one school shooting involving a female.
It was Tennessee.
One. Yeah, Tennessee. But other than that, it is usually young white males.
Senator Trey Gowdy, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about that. Let that sink in for just a second. Well, Trey Gowdy, I noticed there haven't been a whole lot of talking points from you about all of the trans shootings that have happened. Right? Yeah, you haven't mentioned that? Let's go to Jeff and Easley. Jeff, welcome.
Hey, man, how are you?
Good, bud. What's up?
Hey, what was it he said that one time you brought up that somebody didn't need to be locked up? What was that? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember that either.
Yeah, but he pretty much said, they didn't need to be behind bars for that. I can't remember what it was, but, he just on CNN and says that.
Yeah, I don't remember that case.
Yeah, it was, I can't remember. You can look it up. But, yeah, he said that they don't learn from being behind bars.
Oh, well, that's horrible. That's a real, I appreciate it, Jeff. That's a real law and order thing to say. Well, Trey Gowdy, I got some news for you. According to a new study, data collected from 30 American cities show that we have a historically low homicide rate in this country from 2025 compared to the same period in 2026, translating to about 215 fewer homicides this year. According to a new report from the Independent Council of Criminal Justice, should the trend continue, it would push the annual homicide rate to the lowest levels in over a century once final numbers are released at the end of the year. The report was released today, tracked 13 crimes and recorded drops in 9 of those categories, including carjackings, residential burglary, aggravated assaults. There was a small jump in shoplifting, domestic violence, sexual assaults, and drug offenses over the same period. Experts say the broadly positive change are exceeding expectations. Exceeding them. Why? Well, number one, we're locking up the illegal aliens. Or at least we're trying to. So, I don't know. And again, I've had nobody on the text line, nobody, say anything about, yes, this is what Trey Gowdy has done. I think he would be a great senator. I got nothing. Let's go to Billy and Anderson. Billy, welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The previous caller was talking about how basically Trey Gowdy was saying in some cases jail
is not a deterrent. Well, including myself and everybody I've ever known that are normal people, if you've ever been in jail for anything, there's only two things on your mind. Number one is getting out.
Right.
And number two is changing your behavior so that you never get back there again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you very much.
I appreciate it, Billy. Thank you very much. I mean, you're right about that. Unbelievable. It really is. But, and listen, I don't know. I mean, they polled 900 people in South Carolina for this. Let me just see if I can find. Yeah, it was about 900 people. Hold on, I got it here. Between July 18th and 20th, 900 voters, and they've got Trey Gowdy top of the list. But I don't know about that. I really don't. I know that would be a disaster. I know it's something Tim Scott wants. So let me ask you something. Tim Scott and Trey Gowdy are such really good buddies, and they are good friends. My question is, now, I've always heard that if you show me the 5 closest people to you, the 5 closest people in your circle, I will be able to tell everything about you. So my question is, can we look at Trey Gowdy and extrapolate everything we need to know about Tim Scott? Probable. When we get back, we'll talk about the Greenville County Council and the 1% sales tax with County Council member Kurt McGahee. As coming up next is the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When nasty weather strikes, stay in the know with the upstate's largest staff of meteorologists 24/7 on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Yes, sir. And we are back. Well, the Greenville County Council is going to have a ballot initiative coming up in November about a 1% sales tax increase. Joining us right now from Greenville County Council is County Councilman Kurt McGahee. Kurt, welcome to the program. Hope you're doing well, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, Charlie. Hope you are too.
Absolutely. So tell us about this 1% sales tax increase. Now, it's because we're hearing now that it's not just going for roads.
Sure. So, we had to compromise, right? And based on the ordinance passed by the state law, you can do Greenlink funding and Historic and Natural Land Trust funding. Now, obviously, the goal is to get the county as far ahead in roads as can, right? So just like Reagan or Trump, we had to do a little compromise here. And would I prefer all this money go to roads? 100%. But my bigger focus is to get the county the extra money it needs to get the roads where they need to be. So 3% of that's going to go to Greenlink based on the current I'm going to go on the ballot.
Right.
That's about $3.3 million per year. County Council currently funds Greenlink at $3.5 million. So if we can get most of that money coming from this tax, that's great. We can take that 3.5 and do something else. But anyway, Historic and Natural Land Trust will be at 7%. That's $7.8 million a year, right? So, and and this is a point I want to make. The Historic and Natural Land Trust has preserved over 3,000 acres of green space in the last 5 years, okay? Being funded at about $7 million, okay, in the past 5 years. Their current fund balance is $1 million that we just appropriated. They've spent all their money. They estimate if we pass this penny tax, they'll be able to preserve, based on land and how, land's going up every day, but 4,500 to 7,000 more acres. Who could not be for that? I'll tell you, I would rather give them 7% and we preserve this land that can never be built on. You want to talk about controlling growth? Historic and Natural Land Trust is the way to do it. And giving them 7%, $7.8 million a year, if this tax passes, is going to preserve a lot of land, and that's a good thing.
So now we got 90% left, and that would go to roads?
Well, so 1% will go to the state. State law says they get 1% as administration fee. So now we're down to 89% would go towards the roads. Now the 6 municipalities in the county would also get their portion. That's $62.3 million, right? It's based on their portion of sales tax collected in their boundaries. Okay, so the municipalities will get a portion. The bottom line, the county would get about $38 million per year in additional road funding with this tax. So after you break it all out, you give Greenlink their portion, Historic and Natural Land Trust, which is awesome, and then you give the 6 municipalities based on their spend. We would get about $38 million per year in funding for roads, which is what we need. We've already made a big commitment. Over the years, we did in 2024 was $10.5 million. 25 was $11 million. 26, when our first budget, this new council came, it's $33 million. And for this next year, we have $27 million allocated. Now, as the FELO money continues to come in, that number will go up. But just to give you how we're spending that, we're on top of it. The current fund balance as of today is $300,000 that's not allocated as of today. It's $15 million in the balance in the fund. There's only $300 that hasn't been earmarked to put for a road. or a road project, a bridge. We're paving 72 miles of roads this year. And we had 10 major road projects completed this year because of the commitment to funding the roads. So, these claims that we're sitting on huge amounts of money in the county and we're not spending it and we can't get things done, it's just not true. We're getting stuff done. I mean, you can see out there, I have people telling me, man, I've seen more paving in the past year than I've seen in 10 years. So, the bottom line here is we're getting stuff done. It's coming in. And, my colleague came on yesterday and I love that guy. And he's a great, he represents his district. But let's just talk about this. There was a claim made that this is going to add $1,000 to the average household. Well, let's think about that. $1,000 is 1% of how much? $100,000. So you're telling me every household is going to spend $100,000 more on retail purchases next year? See, the math doesn't add up. It's a scare tactic to get you to say this is crazy.
But let me just ask you this, because it was just a couple of years ago under the old county council that we had the largest property tax increase in Greenville County history. Where did that money go?
Well, let's just say this: the salaries, the raises we've given every year to both public safety, and they have increased sevenfold in the past 10 years. We've given out the raises we shouldn't be giving out to everybody. These raises we're given to everybody are huge. This year was 4.5%. So basically, the new ad valorem taxes we collected this year were $13 million. We added $21 million to the budget. So again, we put it into our general fund. That's like eating into our savings. That's not a fiscally responsible way to have a county run. We're not the federal government. We can't print money. We can, we can only spend the money we have. So we're dipping into that savings that we could need in hard times. So it's just not a good way to go. So to say that we're sitting on all that money, it's not spent. It is being spent. It's being spent on raises. The budget for next year that we passed was $473.9 million. 82.5% of that's on salaries. That only leaves $82 million remaining for operations. So everything that goes on in the county that you see out there, Parks and Rec, the county vehicles, everything, the bond payments, everything that we have to run a county, it's only $82 million. It's not $473 million that we're out there throwing around with cocktail parties. That's just not the truth. I'd like to get back to that $1,000 per household because I think that's very important, Charlie. So assuming that disposable, it says that the current median income in Greenville is $76,900, so $76,900. All right. Assuming that 40% is disposable, that's just a generic number. 40% of the total earned, that means $30,000 is spent on retail. If the average citizen spent every penny of their disposable income on taxable retail purchases, that's $30,000. At 6%, that's $1,846 spent in taxes. If we added the penny, remember it's 1 penny. I know 16% is 16% correct of 6 pennies. Yeah. But in actuality, at 7%, that's only $2,154. So the difference per household is $308, not $1,000. The $1,000 claim is a scary claim, but you'd have to spend $100,000 more dollars to add. The claim was that we're adding $1,000 burden per household.
Okay.
You'd have to spend more than people make. It's just not true. It's a scare tactic.
Let me ask you this. What happens if the voters say no?
Well, we're kind of stagnant, right? We have a commitment. We're constantly, now you can see, putting in 25 to 35. That's our commitment. I've been trying to make the budget work, get some FELO funding in there, but that's about where we're at. We're not really going to be able to get ahead and stay ahead of this as the county grows. We're going to stagnate, and then we're going to, like I keep telling people, the way we're funding the county now, it's going to come to a head pretty quickly. 2 years in a row now, we've dipped into the general fund. So that's like, we're outspending what we're collecting. That's not a good thing.
But don't we have all these people? Don't we have all these people moving into the Greenville area? I mean, certainly that's increasing our tax base.
Absolutely. I addressed that a little bit ago, but that's $13 million we collected last year. We collected $13 million in new ad valorem taxes. We added $21 million to the budget. So now we're $8 million behind. We're dipping in the general fund for that. So the county.
Well, let me ask you this: what other thing? I mean, do we have to fund GreenLink?
Well, we don't have to, but again, remember, it was a compromise. So to get all the votes that we needed on county council and to get the votes out in public that we need to get this passed, we had to make that compromise, Charlie. One thing I think we have to realize as conservatives and Republicans, and I think Trump realizes this really well, it's not, and Reagan did as well, it's not an all or nothing game. if it's all or nothing, we get nothing. And by compromising a little bit, the county is going to get more of what it needs. I mean, to me, it's just, I've been censured by the GOP, all this stuff, all over this. But the point is, I'm moving the county forward in a positive direction. Is everybody contribute a little more? Absolutely. But I'll tell you, if we just continue like we are, it's not a good thing.
So, I mean, you keep saying that it was a compromise. A compromise with who about what?
Well, the compromise with the other people on council because they have their interests for their districts, right? So, I mean, if we want to get it on the ballot, we had to make some compromises. There's people that want it. There's people out in the public that that think Greenlink's awesome. A lot of people use it to get to work. Am I a huge proponent of Greenlink? No. But if I can compromise and give them a portion, 3% of what, still the county comes out net ahead in the end. And that's what I'm trying to get people to realize is, there's this huge focus on Greenlink, but it's really a distraction. You're failing to see the forest for the trees. So, Greenlink, okay, 3%, but that's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not moving the needle. We could get rid of Greenlink off the budget, whatever. It still doesn't move the needle in where we need to find growth.
What else could you move off the budget?
Well, the historic land trust.
Oh, where'd you go?
We're talking.
There you go. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
1.5 million. We can move that. But I mean, we could go in there and find little things. But I'll tell you, I've challenged anybody. I've been through the budget with a fine tooth comb, and there's a few $100,000 we could say, you know what, we could do without that. But to the 25, what we get at the end, I told you we get 38 million. There's not $38 million in waste when the operations budget is only $82 million after we pay salaries.
I just got my tax bill for my new truck, and brother, it was unbelievable.
Sure,
what
absolutely.
you got?
How
What
much of that
you
is for the
guys?
schools?
A lot.
How much of that is right? So most of that doesn't. The county only gets about 16% of your tax bill. When you see that tax bill, look at your schools. It's probably 68% of your tax bill goes to the Greenville County schools. So that's another thing I'd like to work on is getting those bills separated so you actually see what the county is getting and you see what the school system is getting. That's where people should be focused is why are we spending 68% of our tax dollars on schools? It's a good thing. I think education is important, but we have to ask, are we spend their budget's almost $1 billion, twice ours.
Yeah, pretty amazing. All right, well, you guys are going to vote on that in November. Kurt McGahee, Greenville County Council. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Charlie. Have a great day.
Take care. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie tells it like it is, whether they like it or not. You're locked into the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, here's the thing that's getting me about the whole 16.67% increase in sales tax in Greenville County, and that's exactly what it is. I just don't feel like I'm getting the story. Because yesterday all we heard was, we don't have the crews to get out there and do all the work. There's more work than there are the crews. Then we had this wonderful lady call up who works in the industry, and she said, wait a minute, hold on, that's not the whole story. The story is that these companies can't get the rock from the quarries to do the work. And another person texted me and say, listen, we don't do much work with the county because we're busy building subdivisions. So I have no idea. Let's go to Mike in Hickory about it. Mike, what do you think? Nope. There you go. All right. Well, there you go. All right. Let's go to Bob in Greer. He wants to talk about Trey Gowdy. What's going on, Bob?
Yeah. Hey, Charlie. I was just referencing a caller a couple of times ago who said Trey Gowdy had said those people don't need to go to prison. I looked it up because you didn't know. I vaguely remembered it. Didn't know the context. And what they're saying is on the Ann Frey show, he was discussing accountability and trust. And he said that losing public trust, respect, and one's reputation can serve as a severe form of punishment, even when a legal conviction does not occur. Now, I think what we have problems with him on this is we think it's probably a cop-out. That is true. That's a form of punishment, but it's not the one they deserve. They deserve the conviction and the full force of the law being brought down upon them.
Right.
And that's what I think. That was the context of his quote.
Okay. I appreciate it, Bob. Thank you very much. Now we got Mike calling back from Hickory. What's going on, Mike?
Thanks for taking my call back again.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller, United States Marine, retired police officer. Uh-oh.
You get the bell. Good job. What's up, man? Well, congratulations. And listen, thank you for a lifetime of service, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Listen, you guys, that your show is one of the high spots of my life, of my day.
Thank you.
And the one thing I heard was that last politician who was on the show. I've been a political junkie all my life.
Uh-huh.
My father owned a newspaper, so I have a background in it. And at 85, I've heard them all since the 40s. Now, was he ever a barker in a circus sideshow?
No, I don't believe he was. He had quite the military career himself.
Oh, okay, because I've heard political speak, and that was Class A political speak. The numbers that he was throwing at you, he might be well versed in it, he might be well experienced, but the numbers that he was throwing here and there, considering all the influx of new residents, there has to be a lot more money being spent and taxed in South Carolina.
A lot. I mean, I know, though, like I just said, they just taxed my truck, and it was unbelievable. But what got me, Mike, was he said they had to compromise to give money. So in order to raise our sales tax, they had to promise to give some of that tax to somebody else. And I was like, what? That doesn't make sense.
The double talk was amazing. He sounds like he's a lifelong politician, a lot of experience. But boy, he has that time track down pat.
There you go. All right, Mike, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Let's go to Jason in Gaffney. What's going on, man?
Hey, I've been listening to you after this. I'm a first-time caller.
You get the bell as well. All right. Lots of them today.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. So, as county council in Greenville there, how many people drive on the roads every day versus how many people go on Greenlink? If they're representing the people and not fixing the roads, why don't they do the 3%? Just take all that, put it all on the roads, and we don't have to dodge the potholes. You know what? I don't get it. People say all these people love Greenlink, and Greenlink's going to come out with all of these statistics, but I swear to you, every time I see a Greenlink bus, it's empty. count the people.
Yeah.
Count how many people take Greenlee, how many people drive on the roads.
Yeah.
To be easy math. Thank you for taking my call.
I appreciate it, Jason. Thank you very much. When we get back, we'll talk with Duke Buckner, who's running for Senate in South Carolina. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Eyewitnesses wanted. When you see news, email news@989WORD.com.
Hey, Duke.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Well, everybody knows we've got a special Senate primary coming up. The election is going to be August the 11th. Early voting is the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And one of the men running for this race is Duke Buckner, and he joins us right now. Duke, welcome to the program. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, sir. Charlie, thank you for having me on the program this afternoon.
What made you decide to run for the Senate?
Charlie, I'm running to warn the American people and the great people of South Carolina about the impending socialist revolution that is happening in our country. There are two revolutions that have to happen before communism. First is the democratic revolution, where the people rise up against the monarchy. We had that in 1776. The second revolution that has to happen before communism is the socialist revolution. And that's when the government takes over private property, private enterprise, means of production, and agriculture. And that is what folks like Senator Bernie Sanders, Ocasio-Cortez, and Mondami in New York are wanting to see happen here in the United States. And when socialism happens, the next step is communism. Millions of people die, innocent people die, and we don't want that in America.
Does it surprise you? Does it surprise you how quickly? Because like just a couple of years ago, it was basically it was AOC and Bernie Sanders, and everybody was like, okay, they're crazy. But now we've got all of these candidates: Colorado, Michigan, New York, all of these DSA candidates coming out, and they're telling you exactly what they want to do. I mean, they want to do away with the Senate, the office that you're running for.
Yes, sir. Well, Charlie, there's two ways that the socialist revolution can happen. One is democratically, meaning through the ballot box. That's where you have your democratic socialists. And the other way is through violence. And we see that happening all across America with violent protests, clashes with police and ICE agents. All of that's designed to bring about that socialist revolution. And I'm here to warn the American people and the great people of South Carolina not to listen to that rhetoric and to change our economic situation so that the socialist message is not palatable. We got to get housing affordable. We need to get our gas and food prices down. We need to get America out of debt, reduce the size of government, and stop spending more than what we bring in deficit spending. So one of the first pieces of legislation I'm going to put forth is a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution.
So, I mean, when you look at the grand scale of things, the Save America Act is probably one of the most, the easiest ways to actually stop this communist revolution. Do you support the Save America Act, and would you be willing to even do away with the filibuster to get it passed?
I do support the Save the America Act. I would not support getting rid of the filibuster. That's been in the Senate for a very long time. It makes us work together. It makes the Senate, both Democrats, Republicans, Independents, work together and come up with something that can be beneficial for all the citizens of the United States.
Well, let me reframe my question. Would you do away with what they call the zombie filibuster? Would you rather people stand up and actually debate, or are you okay with the 60-vote threshold?
I'd rather folks get up and debate. Stand and state your position. If you can sit there and talk for, however hours, state your position, but at the end of the day, the vote needs to be cast. And so I would not be in favor of getting rid of that filibuster. We need that so that the Senate can continue to work together as a organization.
All right. So what other issues do you think we really need to address in this country?
Well, one of the things that we need to address is affordable housing. It is very challenging for American people to be able to buy a house, young people trying to buy a house or to pay their rent. And one of the things that I believe we should institute, that if you have an apartment complex and you're getting any kind of subsidy from the government to run that housing complex or apartment, you will make sure that every person who is applying for rent is an American citizen. Because, of course, you know, supply and demand. We have more
Sure.
demand than we have supply right now. And folks who are in this country illegally, Charlie, are taking housing opportunities for citizens, and that's not right. So you want to rent, you want to buy, you have to be an American citizen.
So, I mean, we know, I mean, there was a new study out that came out that illegal aliens have increased the cost of housing by 30%.
Yes, sir.
Also,
Yes,
we've
sir.
got
That's it.
insurance, we've got everything else around there, utilities, all of that stuff. So how do we, I mean, should we get, you know, there's a lot of people talking about immigration. Should we be tougher on immigration?
I think we should be 100% tough on immigration. If you're in this country illegally, you're a criminal because you've broken the laws of the United States, and that's not right. You have no respect for the laws of this country. So I support the president and the ICE agents in removing every single illegal alien out of this country, and also making sure that folks who are only citizens of the United States can vote. All of the things that the president is doing, policy is making America stronger and making America great. And so I support those policies 100%.
What do you feel about the president's actions in Iran?
Listen, I think the president is not getting the credit that he deserves for doing the tough things, like going into Iran and eliminating the nuclear threat. We were doing great. The economy is going great. Gas was down. He could have just kept the ball rolling. But he said, no, this is an imminent threat to the security of the United States, and we are doing what we need to do over there to eliminate that threat once and for all. And the president doesn't get the credit I think he deserves in making the decision to go into Iran instead of kicking that can further down the road.
You know, we just spend so much money. How would you reduce spending in the Senate?
Well, first of all, I support the DOGE efforts that the president instituted, making sure that we are efficient. Any waste, fraud, abuse, such as what Vice President Vance is working on, all of those things help to reduce the federal budget, and hopefully we're going to be taking the surplus money that we find and putting it towards the national debt. Second, we need to make sure that any excess foreign aid that is unnecessary, that we cut that. And that's why I supported the president in his getting rid of USAID, which was taking hard-earned American dollars and sending it to places to fund all kinds of crazy things that are nowhere near the values and beliefs of the American people. So I'm in agreement with what the president is doing in order to help reduce our spending and bring the budget deficit down.
All right, a lot of people just getting acquainted with Duke Buckner. How can people find out more and maybe even contribute?
Sure. If they go to my website, dukeforamerica.com, dukeforamerica.com, or they can call me directly. My phone number is 843-217-3628, Charlie. That's 843-217-3628. We cannot allow the socialist revolution to happen in this country. The socialists have infiltrated the Democratic Party, and unfortunately, they are clandestine, covert in the Republican Party as well. How do I know that? We look at the federal deficit. We're nearing $40 trillion. So all of that is designed to expand government, more government control of your life. And if the communists get in after the socialist revolution, they'll tell you what time to go to bed, when to eat, how much you eat, if you eat, and totally destroy this country. And we fought too hard to be an open market, free capitalist society to allow the socialists. And any socialist that happens to be listening to this program, if you're a socialist, I would encourage you, instead of trying to make America socialist, go and live in a socialist country and leave America alone.
There you go. Duke Muckner running for Senate.
Thank you.
Duke, I appreciate it. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your
Take
time.
care.
Have a great day.
You too. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
While others talk rough, Charlie stays smooth, like a perfect putting green.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Well, the House passed the NDAA today, and this is a massive, massive budget. Now, do I believe that we should fund our military? Of course I do. I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. So there you go. So, but there was one section. In fact, 7 Republicans voted against it. Josh Breachin, Tim Burchett, Eli Crane, Harriet Hagman, Anna Polina Luna, Thomas Massey, and Chip Roy all voted against this. Now, this is a huge budget. And again, when was the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? I would really like for the Pentagon to pass an audit. It would make me very happy for the Pentagon to pass an audit. That would be great. So, anyway, one of the big sticking points was Section 219 of the NDAA. This section is titled the United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperative Initiative. Now, how much do we know about that? Not a whole lot. It would designate a senior official and executive agent to oversee the initiative, promote joint research and development, increase technology sharing, and facilitate co-production and integration of Israeli defense technologies into U.S. defense programs. Okay, well, that may be all right now, here in 2017. But is it, 2026. I don't know why I said 27. It might be all right now here in 2026. But is that going to be okay in 2030? 2035? I think there needs to be some sort of a split between the United States and other nations. I think that should always be the case. Now, the leadership in Israel, that they might be friendly to us right now, but heaven knows where that's going to go. They might vote Netanyahu out, and all of a sudden they got some radical liberal in there. We don't know. So sharing information between, I believe that we should be compartmentalized. We should keep our stuff to ourselves instead of sharing all that. I just, I don't. Now, they say that it's going to speed innovation, strengthen an important ally. I don't know how much stronger we can get. Improve interoperability between the U.S. and Israel. But it would also reduce congressional oversight. It would deepen long-term military integration and make future policy changes towards Israel more difficult. What if Israel decided to go rogue? What if they did? What would happen then? I believe that things like this are just a little too scary. So I don't always agree with Thomas Massey, but I'm okay with it voting against. Now, it passed anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's just one of those things we got to wonder about. What is the actual intent of Section 219? Charlie, the Pentagon is flooded with black ops. Audit, not possible with all these classified projects. Well, that's the thing, though. Why not? We don't know where these, what is like 1.7 trillion? Charlie, this will give Israel full access to the Pentagon. Another thing I'm worried about. Another thing. So, pretty amazing. Somebody wanted to know if there was a law or a regulation that would keep Lindsay's sister from running. Now, there's a rule. There's a rule that could keep Darlene Graham from running, but it won't. Okay? So a couple of weeks ago, you had the South Carolina GOP. They reconvened their convention, and they came up with a rule that you had to vote in 2 out of the 3, the last 2 out of 3 statewide primaries. Okay? 2 out of 3 statewide primaries. She did not do that. And if you did not do that, you had to get a special waiver from the executive committee. But there you go. Do you think the executive committee is going to deny her the ability to do that? No, of course not. Tell you what, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Get breaking news sent straight to your phone for free. Download the Odyssey app. Follow News Talk 98.9 WORD. Stay in the know with the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie?
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Jennifer Welch and Angie Sullivan have a podcast, and in listening to that podcast or clips of it, they appear to be two of the most anger-filled women that I've ever heard in my life. I mean, you can just see it in their faces. There just seems to be no joy about them, and lately they've taken on homeschoolers. I want you to listen to what Jennifer Welch said. What the real problem is here in this country.
The dumbest people she knew in college were homeschooling their kids. And so this is trickle-down stupidity. This is MAGA on steroids. This is MAHA. This is tradwife. This is unvaxxed and unjacked and all that. This is the worst. And this is America has a crazy Christian problem. We have a fundamental crazy Christian problem.
This is Angie Sullivan.
I just think homeschooling is a bad idea from soup to nuts. I don't care if you're a nuclear physicist. I think it's just weird as that you want your kids around you all day, every day, and all night. And just the socialization.
You don't, and like I've said, I've met a lot of homeschooled kids. They're the most socialized kids in the world. Joining us right now is Jessica Brassington. She is with Mama Bears Rising. Jessica, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Hi, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
So you've been kind of low-key on your response to these two. What's going on?
So I take the approach that I don't give attention to ignorance or stupidity. I choose to focus on the positive and the stories of the women who, for this example, this is one small example of what I believe parents have the right and freedom to choose is how their children are educated.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to highlight the people who have homeschooled, myself included. I've done a mix of public school, private school, and homeschool with all three of my children, and not give that the attention. I think a lot of people are, sadly, that's what they're doing to get a rise out of people and get the clicks, it sounds like.
So, I mean, and that's like the big talking point. These kids aren't socialized. But like I tell everybody, and we've got friends that homeschool their kids, and you can actually sit down and have a conversation with them. You don't get grunted at, and their faces aren't buried in a phone or a tablet.
Yes, sir. And one thing, my girls now are 22, 21, and 17. And one of the comments that would be made regularly when I had my girls out with me was, wow, your children are looking me in the eyes and they're engaging and they're initiating, because you need to look at it. One way that would help is if you are forced to be in a building, in a room, sitting next to people, are those your friends, or is that a forced situation? Whereas homeschool children have to actually initiate and go out and forge friendships.
Right.
They're not surrounded by necessarily peers all day in a forced situation. So even from that perspective, it puts the onus on the homeschool child to take initiative.
You know, one of the big things that employers are looking for, and one of the things that they say is really missing from the workforce, are the soft skills, the interpersonal skills, the ability to, just be pleasant at work. How did your kids, your daughters do in the workforce when they started going to work?
Well, and this is one of the beautiful things. All three of my children are different, and that is one of the reasons that I believe allowing the parent to make those decisions for their children is so important, because what works for one child may not work for another.
Yeah.
And all three of my children have taken very different paths. I am along the mindset that college is not for everyone. We
Right.
have the money to send, and we've put it aside to pay for all of our children, but they've made different decisions. I can say that they got into the colleges, the ones that they wanted to, with being homeschooled. And I have a lot of friends whose children have gone on to be in the military, into Ivy Leagues, I'm here in Texas, so of course,
Right.
Texas A&M, and UT are big here, but there's no problem. And in fact, when I've talked with the people at the universities, they actually enjoy the homeschool students because they come more prepared. So you have to remember in home education, it's learning how to learn. It's not just sitting down and having someone, an authoritative figure, telling you things and you regurgitating it to pass a test. So it's a very different way of learning and thought. And so they have a lot of those college readiness skills that maybe, and not all, once again, you know, that other children may not have had to exercise during that, a different type of education.
How difficult is it on a parent to homeschool their kids?
Well, you know, it's kind of like parenting, right? That's like asking how difficult is
Yeah.
parenting.
It's a hard
It depends
job.
on the child.
Yeah.
It depends on the parent. And one of the things that I've always said and still will, it is not the easy way around, but the fruits of that time spent are huge. And so it has been a very long, difficult, crazy path for me with my girls, and we're figuring it out as we go. And I say, listen, you know, even though my girls are 2 are in their 20s now, I'm like, this is the first time that I have fill in the blank, right?
Yeah.
I've had a 22-year-old daughter that I am now learning, you know, the skills of being a grandparent who is very, very, I'm not scared to speak up and for parental rights, but now I'm not the parent for that grandchild, right?
Right.
So I'm learning that, how to be the guide and the coach. And so I think it's one of the things that it is a hard road, but it's so worth it.
Tell us about Mama Bears Rising. What does your organization do?
So we're not a nonprofit. We're a company with a cause, and
Mhm.
it really began by me speaking out in 2021 about the hospital protocols that were happening in my town here in Montgomery, Texas. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes north of Houston. I had some friends with moms in the hospital, and they weren't allowed to see them. And my holistic background put me in circles of people that were talking about some of these controversial topics and things being used. So I started speaking out about that, and because I was pretty vocal about that, then I had teachers starting to come to me about books in their classroom that were telling children to, you know, if they were a girl, maybe they're a boy, and vice versa. And nurses, doctors who were being told they had to get this shot or lose their job. So
Wow.
it really just quickly escalated into people coming to me as a resource. And so I ended up testifying at the Texas Senate against censorship, which I was experiencing on my social channels at the time. And I ended that testimony with, this mama bear's out of hibernation and she's not going back to sleep. And so that's how the name Mama Bears Rising was born. And it now is a place where I like to say maxed out moms go to quiet the noise so they can make calm, confident, informed decisions for their families.
There you go. Sounds great. You can check out more at mamabearsrising.com. Jessica Brassington, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Charlie.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Joey Hudson here. Start your day early on Sunrise Carolina tomorrow morning at 5 on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks, you listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Yeah, I had to go to the eye doctor today. It's been about 6 years, almost 7 years since I had new glasses. Went to go see my buddy, Dr. Charles Bernardi over there at Voss Vision. And, man, great job. Thank you so much for all your help, pal. I appreciate it. Let's go to Anthony in Spring Hill. How you doing, Anthony?
Hey, I'm doing good.
All right, bud. What's up, man?
Hey, I was listening about they were talking about homeschooling and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Who was that woman that you had on that was saying that it was nonsensical, that it would, mess with your kids' development and all that stuff?
Yeah, that was it was two of them, Jennifer Welch and Angie Sullivan.
Yeah, I had homeschooled my kids, and I feel like it's important to. One of the things you get with public school that you don't get with homeschool is they get an exposure to, say, adverse people that it would allow them to better identify them when they're out in the world. Urbanite people, people that, they like drinking, Kool-Aid, watermelon, like all that sort of stuff.
Oh, no, Anthony, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's go to Lisa in Anderson. Lisa, welcome. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Lisa. All right. I'm going to put Lisa on hold, and maybe you can get on with her. Let's go to Gerald in Cowpens. Gerald, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, the way all these people moving in here, looking like we're going to have to build another hospital. We had a family member in the emergency room yesterday at Spartanburg Regional for five hours and never was seen.
5 hours? Good grief.
And nobody ever saw.
That's pretty amazing. That's 5 hours for the. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, when you go to the emergency room, usually it's an emergency. Now, I know they're packed with people who are, there because they have a cold or whatever, but it's gotten so bad at some of these emergency rooms that they're actually putting up the wait times on billboards. That's pretty amazing. Let's go to Lisa in Anderson. Lisa, are you there? Lisa.
Are you talking about Reese Cup?
Oh, it's Reese Cup. How you doing, darling? Good to talk to you. What's up?
Nothing much. I'm doing great. Listen, I got 3 comments that I wanted to make about the homeschool.
Uh-huh.
I homeschooled my daughter, and I absolutely loved it. And one of the criticisms that people made about homeschooling, they said, well, your kids are not going to be, socialized. But what a lot of people don't realize is that social skills are actually taught at home. Manners and morals, all that is taught at home. And when they go out somewhere, they are displaying what you taught them at home.
Yeah.
However, if you do not teach them morals and manners and different things like that at home, they will pick up the bad stuff at school.
Yep.
So it's up to the parents to teach the social skills and all of that at home, and then the kids can display what they've been taught at home. So when you see kids showing their behind out in public, it's because that's what they were taught at home, or not. It wasn't corrected at home.
Right.
So, to parents who are afraid of that argument, you are the ones that teach your kids social skills, and they display them when they go out. So do not let that be, what makes you afraid to homeschool your kids.
Yeah, it's like my granddaddy's. My grandfather saw this woman getting very upset with her. She was spanking her kid in the store one day, and he said, if you do that at home, you don't have to do it in the store. Oh, she did not like that one bit.
But it was fact.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I know one of the reasons why kids can't read when they're graduating school. Now, when my daughter, I didn't start homeschooling her till she was in middle school, and I'll tell you the reason for that in a minute. But the reason why the kids can't read in school, and parents, this is something you can check for yourself. One of the things that I noticed, because I would volunteer My daughter knew how to read. My daughter could read on second grade read level when she started kindergarten.
Wow.
But anyway, so what they do is they have reading books, and they make the kids memorize the words, and they will make them read that book over and over and over until they memorize all the words, and then they say, okay, so you can read that book. But the kids are not learning phonics, how to sound out words. So that's one of the things, parents, if your kids are behind on reading, check to see, are they making the kids memorize the books, and then check it off and saying, okay, we've done our reading, we've worked on reading, or are they teaching your kids phonics? That is why kids are not able to read on grade level. So that's one, okay?
Yeah.
And then the last one I wanted to say, the reason why I started homeschooling my daughter, and this is something else parents need to check. So my daughter was we were in the car going to school one day, and so I noticed she was in the back doing her homework, and I'm chewing her out like, no, ma'am, why are you doing homework in the car? That should have been done last night. She said, well, this really not homework. She said that the teacher says that we can take these notes and we can use them during the test. I said, what do you mean? She said, the teacher allows us to use the notes. So I asked the teacher about it, and he said, because I was like, she's got to be lying. So the teacher said, no, I let the kids use the notes during the test. So basically, they don't have to study. They don't have to know the material.
That's crazy.
No. So what I did is I talked to the principal, and I asked the principal if she was aware that this was going on. The principal not only was aware, but they was okay with it. And so I said, well, my daughter's not going to learn anything, because if they're going to allow her to cheat, basically not learn the material, then she's going to do that. And I said, oh, no, ma'am, we're not going to school to be dumb. No.
There you go.
We're not doing
Good for you, Reese Cup. Good for you. I appreciate it. Thank you, darling.
I appreciate you. I love your show. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. I want to play a little clip here. These are UCLA students, University of California, Los Angeles, supposedly a great school. They were asked to read a sentence, and the sentence is, the beneficiary tried to embellish the extortion scheme. That's the sentence. Listen to these UCLA students.
The beneficiary tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't even know. I can't say that. Tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. The UCLA students, ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, Democrats are afraid of their own creation. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
He's got a mic, a mission, and no time for nonsense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. and type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's go to Mike in Kings Mountain. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, bud, I just talked to you the other day about my boys' homeschool and MMA. And, I talked about, their social skills and so forth. But, one thing I get a lot, and it's the respect that my boys have, the yes sirs, the no sirs, the no ma'ams.
Yeah.
My boys can write in cursive. They know how to sign their name.
Yeah.
They can drive a stick shift. It's so much gets missed and they were not indoctrinated by the school system. The reason we chose it because obviously the land we picked, the place we decided to build our home, the school district wasn't that great. Not in Kings Mountain, but somewhere else. And I'm not gonna bash anybody or anything like that. But it just wasn't a good school district. And the sacrifice that my wife had to make, the sacrifice we had to make. Our 401k didn't grow. She was here teaching my boys. A lot of people said, I just can't afford to do that. Well, we couldn't afford it either.
Yeah.
We chose to do it, and we made the sacrifice.
There you go.
And so these people that are going to judge and look at that and say this, and the irony was when COVID hit and people had to figure out how to homeschool.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. You're right, Mike. I appreciate it. And one of the big things is they don't get indoctrinated into all of this socialism BS like we're seeing in the Democrat Party right now. But the Democrat Party, they are very concerned about the monster they created.
I think your average rank-and-file Democrat in the House right now recognizes that the Democratic Socialists are no longer the fringe in their party. That is the mainstream. That's where their base is. And they're not going to speak out against that because they don't want the backlash from their base. But, it's really rich whenever you have these relative moderates. Many of these are still far left Democrats, but relative moderates complaining about the direction that their party is going whenever this is the direction they put their party on. This is the trajectory they put their party on. If you're going to spend all of your time bashing capitalism, you should expect the younger Democrats who listen to that to become socialists. If you're going to spend all your time bashing the police like the Democrats have done, expect younger Democrats to support defunding the police. If you're going to spend all your time bashing America as a white supremacist country, you should expect younger Democrats to hate that country and want to abolish its institutions like the Senate. So what we're seeing is the Democrats are reaping what they've been sowing for so long.
And he's exactly right. In Shelley's book, Dr. Frankenstein created the monster. The monster killed his brother. The monster killed his wife on her wedding day. His father died from grief. Dr. Frankenstein died when he was hunting for the monster, indirectly killing him as well. But that's what the Democrat Party has done. They have created this monster, and now they're getting scared. Now they're getting very scared. In fact, Representative Jim Clyburn from right here in South Carolina says he is very concerned over the lack of diversity at Abdul El-Sayed's rallies. Yes, Abdul El-Sayed, he's in Michigan. He's running there for the Senate, and he apparently his rallies are just a little too white for Jim Clyburn. Just a little too Caucasian for our 6th congressional district congressman. There's a little too. What do you expect? What do you think is coming, Jim? They're coming after you. You think a bunch of black people are falling for this socialism communist crap? No, not by and large. He said, I saw a picture that concerned me from the rally. I don't see a single person that looks like me. That tells me all I need to know. Well, sorry, Jim. Sorry. But yeah, exactly. That's right. JJ just reminded me. They were chanting out, at Hakeem And Kakeem, and they were like, "You're next. They're going to get rid of him next. They're going to get rid of all the people that look like you." So, yeah. Hold on. Anyway, so yeah, JJ said you don't need to worry about redistricting. You need to worry about your own party coming after you, and they're going to. They're going to. So, one of the big leaders over there is this guy named Hassan Piker. Want you to listen to what Hassan Piker said about the Democrats. Jim Clyburn, calling Jim Clyburn, you need to listen to this.
No more to Trumpism, but no more to the Democrats who compromise, who conciliate, and who betray us. No more to the fascist reactionaries, but no more to the Democrats who will collaborate and cooperate with the fascists, who will fund ICE, who will fund Israel, who will help poison the planet, who will stiff workers and help bosses. We don't need those Democrats anymore.
That's you, Jim. That's you, Clyburn.
In fact, we have a message. We are coming. We are unbossed, we're unbought, we're unbound, and we will become undeniable.
And they're coming for you, Jim Clyburn. They're coming for you, baby. Oh, understand it. Now, while Hassan Piker was giving that rant, he was dressed in a Chairman Mao suit. A suit, the style that Chairman Mao, and sometimes, little rocket man over there in North Korea. It's the communist leader suit, and he's wearing it openly and proudly. And why not? He thinks Mao Zedong was just the bee's knees.
I got stopped by a cop who thought I was like making fun of Mao Zedong, which I never would and never will. Mao Zedong is a one of the great leaders of this world. Okay, a man who changed the entire universe, the entire planet. Okay, for real, yes. I mean, there was a lot of excesses, let's be real, but the People's Republic of China would not exist without Mao Zedong.
So a lot of excesses. What he was referring to there was 60 million people being starved to death and executed by Mao Zedong. But he doesn't mind executions. He thinks executions are A-OK, especially if you're a landlord that doesn't want to rent out your apartment.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those and murder those in the street. Let the streets soak in their red capitalist bloods, dude.
That's it. Jim Clyburn, shut up. Shut up. Your party gave birth to this. This is your Frankenstein's monster. You created this. Don't be whining just because they're coming after you next. I'm going to kind of be happy to see it. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is the Charlie James Show, the right talk. Now more than ever on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go. The phone's going to talk to Janice from Anderson. How you doing, Janice?
Dennis.
Oh, Dennis. How you doing?
Dennis.
JJ, you got to get better. What's up, man?
I want to say, first of all, if I had a child today, I would homeschool.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in homeschooling because I think, first of all, it's admitting defeat. It's admitting that the left wins the schools. The other problem that I've always had with homeschooling, the whole issue there goes, government paying for private schools and homeschools and charter schools, all goes back to integration and people wanting to take their kids out of school to avoid an integrated school, but then they wanted, the government to pay for the schooling.
What about just a better education?
Well, the thing is, a better education, if parents want a better education for their kids, then that's fine. They can pay for that. If I want a better car, I can go buy a better car. Now, the issue of an education like they're giving now is a totally different thing. I don't want a minority of voters in San Francisco to decide for everybody the weird-ass stuff that they're being taught.
But that's exactly what's going on, because when you got people people like Randy Weinstein, teachers union and all of that, and you had the former Department of Education, that's what they were doing. They were deciding that. So I don't see it as admitting defeat.
Exactly, but if we leave the public schools, then the only people left in the public schools are still going to get indoctrinated.
Okay, and I'm fine with that as long as my kids aren't.
Well, I'm not. I don't have kids, right? But the thing is, we need the whole thing back. We need.
Dennis, I have lost you there, but I'm all right. Gotcha. Now let's go to Janice in Gastonia. Janice, welcome.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey.
I just wanted to kind of reiterate. I know we're preaching to the choir on this, but this is the most important thing we could do is vet and make sure you get the right people in the school board. That's the one thing we do have control over.
Yeah.
And make sure they match up with your points. And if you don't see somebody that matches up with your points and you're still aggravated, then step up and run.
Yeah, I agree.
My cousin-in-law, Sandy Jennings in Jackson County, she kept asking who was running, because she wanted to find support. And when she couldn't get the answer she wanted, she said, you know what, I'm tired of trying to push other people to get it done. She said, I'm stepping up and I'm going to run.
Yeah,
So
that's what you got to do.
She's got the power to support it, to make sure that her grandkids doesn't go through what the kids are going through now.
Yep, that's right. I appreciate it, Janice. Thank you. Let's go to Nick in Forest City. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, how you doing? This is my name's Rick, but don't call me late to dinner.
All right. Well, there you go, Nick. What's going on, Rick? Sorry.
No problem, sir. I'm a first-time caller.
You're gonna get the bell. There you go.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I came in on the part about the homeschoolers. Now, I have three grown adult children that we homeschooled, and they all went to once they got too smart. We homeschooled them for 8 years, and they went to a charter school. This happened down in Florida.
Right.
All three of them walked and got their AS degrees 2 weeks before they walked to get their high school diplomas.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And so the homeschooling is definitely the way to go. Like you said, they're not teaching you the crap that you don't have to learn. Each child is different, has different learning ways. Auditory, hands-on, whatever.
Yeah.
The kids aren't socially retarded as the public school says they are.
Yeah, I know.
As you know, because of the fact that the family members or whoever you had there at the house that can carry on a conversation.
Yeah.
They say that, like homeschoolers are socially can't operate in society. I've got two kids that are, one's a black belt in karate, one's also an Eagle Scout.
Nice.
And another one's a brown belt. So it's all, and they have to be they were in a co-op. So, like, let's say for yourself, you weren't going to teach Bible. And so we, go to your house, kids, you would be teaching Bible. Somebody's forte was engineering, great with math. They would teach the math aspects of it. And you go, and then there was opportunities for PE and so forth.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, as far as that to me, that's the only way to go.
There you
in
go.
today's society, So.
All right.
And
Hey,
just wanted to
Rick,
share that with you.
Rick, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Let's go to the phones and talk to Richard in Dallas. How you doing, Richard?
Hey, good, Charlie. Listen, get old Mark Sanford, man. You know, he's a real outdoorsman, ain't he? Hiking,
He sure is.
After left dress. Listen, we used to go, I'm going to go on this real quick. We used to go up Nana Haley Gorge, and that trail crosses right there at Nana Haley, there at that little center, and these people come in there and they'd re-up on supplies, and they're good people, but they're not much to be around on account of their aroma.
Yeah.
And it's not a woodsy aroma neither.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I got
Mitch
you.
McConnell,
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell, please try to help me understand this. Why do those senators and people in politics like that just hang on way beyond the point of being able to do their job, other than getting a paycheck?
The
And surely
staff.
to goodness, they've saved enough money to retire.
It's the staff. The staff is doing this.
I know.
All of this
but
stuff
I
is the staff.
But listen, but what I'm asking is his dignity. Surely in his heart or his wife or somebody would say, okay, honey, you've done great. It's time to retire.
Wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you think she would do that? Wouldn't you think that Jill, the Biden would have said, hey, honey, no.
Why do they hang on? I mean, that's what my question is.
Well, it's it's like I said before, power is a hell of a drug, man.
Okay.
They're addicted
Charlie.
to it. They never, ever want to give it up. They don't want to give it up.
Even on their dying breath,
Yep,
man.
exactly right. Appreciate it, Richard. Thank you very much. Can I tell y'all something? I found out something, I think it was yesterday, and it has just blown my mind, and this has got nothing to do with politics. It's got nothing to do with except for what it's got to do with. It's got nothing to do with any of that. But when I heard this, my mind just went. A couple of weeks ago, before I went on vacation, I had a conversation with a caller, and we were talking about what we know about the universe. And I told the caller, I said, listen, we've gone a lot farther out than we have in. Okay? And that's the truth. We've gone a lot farther out in the universe than we've gone in to the universe. But I didn't know by how much. Well, I found out. There's a thing out there, it's called Planck length. My wife is like, I can't believe he's talking about this right now, but I am. Planck length is the smallest unit of measurement possible. If you were try to go and find something smaller than Planck length, which is 1.6 times 10 to the negative 35 meters, it would take so much energy that you would literally create a black hole. Okay. So, what is the biggest thing? Now, we're talking about what we know right now. The biggest thing is the universe, of course, right? The observable universe, 90 million light years across. If you took the universe over on this side of the scale, way over there, and then you took the smallest unit of measurement, Planck length, and it's over here on the left side of the scale, what would be in the middle of that scale as far as size is concerned? What would it be? This is where my mind just absolutely exploded. The human egg. The human egg, the ovum, is right smack in the middle of those two extremes. The human egg is 1/10 of a millimeter. It's one of the smallest things you can see with the naked eye. You got to have really good eyesight, and you got to know what you're looking for, but you can't see it. Maybe a half as big as a human hair, but it's there. That's the middle. That's the middle. Everything else to the left of that, going down to Planck unit, is even smaller. I was just, We human beings, what am I? I'm right at 6 foot, a little under 200 pounds. I am closer to the size of the universe than I am plank length. That, man, you know what? I was, this got me so, fired up because, and I prayed about this last night. And when I pray at night, it's not literally like a prayer. It's like, oh, Father. No, it's like, Lord, let me just tell you what a day I had. Let me just thank you for all of this. And I have a conversation with God at night. And I was bragging on him last night to himself. I was like, man, I cannot believe what I found out today. And then I explained it. I'm pretty sure he was laughing because I'm very rudimentary. We all do, rudimentary knowledge of what actually goes on. But if you knew, I mean, the Bible says, in the beginning, God. And when you realize what is involved in all of this, what is it? I mean, when you get down to plank length, laws of physics change, light changes, relativity changes. What does the Bible say? Things that are seen are made of things that are not seen. Just the unbelievable complexity of this universe that was obvious. Oh, no, Charlie, it was all just a Big Bang theory. Well, tell me what went bang, and I'll believe your little theory. Because what created the things that went bang? So it was just amazing. And when I heard that, I was like, holy cow, that is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So, if you want to find out more about this, just look up plank length. It's PLANCK, plank length, and just prepare to have your mind blown. It is the most unbelievable. Oh, my gosh. I got so excited when I read that last night. And thank you for letting me share that with you this afternoon. I just had to get that out because you know why? We don't have enough nerds at this radio station that actually appreciate something like that, and I hope you did. WORD Talk Line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. When we get back, who is running for South Carolina Senate, and what do the polls say? It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Not just chatter, local issues that matter. This is the Charlie James Show
on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
act on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones and talk to Ken in Nebo. How you doing, Ken?
Yeah, Ken Nerd here in Nebo, North Carolina. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to have a little fun with your rationale and your theory that I don't think's relative. But anyway,
it's not my theory. You think I made that up, Ken?
No, I'm not questioning your facts, Charlie.
Okay.
I'm really not. I know you do mine sometimes, but I just wanted to have a little fun with you. You use the number 90 million light years as far as the parameters of the universe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Whoever is responsible for those numbers, how did you come up with them?
I don't know. Physicists did that. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Because, really, when it comes down to it, outside our solar system, I've always wondered, because we know the entity and we know nothing about God other than what he has written through the book and sent the messages to his son, Jesus Christ. But I've always wondered if when he rebuilds everything, that we may find out that the parameters, everything outside our solar system may be just a mirage, a sort of a black curtain that looks like all those galaxies that take off for light years, millions and trillions of light years. By the way, 5.8 trillion miles that a light can travel in 1 year.
Yeah.
It's just a mirage. It's all that beauty out there that we can see with our telescopes and everything. But he knows that we will never see the end of it till he comes and rebuilds us and maybe shows us around his house up there.
Maybe
Thanks for
so.
taking the call, Charlie.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Ken. Thank you. All right, so we got the Senate race coming up. That primary is going to be on August the 11th. So far, as of the latest information, we've got 5 people that have officially filed to run for the U.S. Senate. Well, it's $10,400 to run. Duke Buckner, who we talked with earlier, Mark Lynch, Mark McBride, former mayor of Myrtle Beach, Charles Nielsen, and Samuel Shepard. Those 5 have officially filed to run for the Senate. Now, got information just a few minutes ago that Ralph Norman is going to be filing tomorrow at 12:30. So Ralph Norman will officially be in tomorrow at 12:30. So we're going to have 6 tomorrow, and many, many more, I predict. Listen, folks, this thing's going to a runoff. It's going to a runoff. We'll have that runoff on the 25th. And another person has announced they're running for the Senate. Let's take a listen to this.
I'm Mark Sanford. Lindsay's death is a reminder to all of us of how short and precious life is. My own dad got Lou Gehrig's disease when I was in high school, and this notion of all of us having just a little time has always hit me hard. We're stewards of our lives and the things that we love for just a short time. I'm now a dad and a granddad, and I'm worried for our children because for the first time, America is borrowing from the future faster than we're building it. We'll add about $1 trillion to the national debt over the next 100 days, and if left unaddressed, that debt will crush our economy, it'll wipe out our savings, and it could even destroy our republic. Our ability to afford things, inflation, and the way people struggle to build a life are but symptoms of spending beyond our means as a country. We're at a tipping point, and that's why I've decided to run for the U.S. Senate.
All right, so
I'd ask that you...
That's Mark Sanford throwing his hat into the ring with a little slight jab, because it isn't the first time that we've had runaway spending, but a little jab at Trump there. But the last time that Mark Sanford ran for office, he was running against Donald Trump. And I asked him, I had him in studio down in Charleston, and he was right there across the desk from me. I said, is this and I did, during commercial break, I think it was after the interview was actually over. I asked him, I said, is this a legitimate campaign, or is it just a symbolic campaign? And he said it was just a symbolic campaign. And remember, Mark Sanford was the guy that went and was having problems with Trump, did not like Donald Trump. He is an anti-Trumper, I'll tell you that right now. He goes to the New York Times to publish an op-ed about Donald Trump and the spending. But he's got a good point. We've got to do something about spending. But I believe that Mark Sanford would be nothing more than a Trump agenda obstructionist in the United States Senate. That's what I believe, 100%. So don't even know if this is going to be official. He put some little thing out on Facebook, but we don't know if he's going to be writing the check to actually file or what have you, but we'll see. But we got a lot of people in this thing. Now, interesting poll numbers that we have here. I mean, extremely interesting. There's been another survey. Who did this one? John Parker at South Carolina Political Strategist said that Ralph Norman led all the named Republican candidates with 18.6% support. So it was Ralph Norman. It was Darlene Graham Nardone at 16.3%. Russell Fry over in the 7th District came in third place with 11.7%. Mark Lynch came in fourth place with 8.6%. And Mark Sanford was way down there at 5%, but that was before he announced. So, but there's another poll. There's another poll out there that is, this one's kind of hard to believe. But here he is. Here it is. I'm going to give it to you. Peak Insights did a poll July 18th through the 20th that show Trey Gowdy, 38%, Ralph Norman, 13%, Russell Fry, 9%, Darlene Graham, 9%, Mark Lynch, 7%, Mark Sanford at 4%. So they've got a runaway numbers for Trey Gowdy. That blows my mind. It really does. Knowing Trey Gowdy's history. Now, from what we hear, some folks that are closer to Trey Gowdy than I am say that he loves what he's doing right now. He loves the company he's working for. He loves Fox News and all of that. And he's not planning on going anywhere, but you never know. That siren's call. The siren's call that can easily dash you against the rocks. The siren's call, maybe reaching out to Trey Gowdy. Let's go to Chuck in Mills River. Chuck, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is Chuck. What's going on, Chuck?
Yeah, last time I checked it was Charlie.
What's up,
hey,
man?
I wanted to remind Richard, like you said, power is a hell of a drug, but I think that Mark Sanford is trying to make the rules that apply to Democrats apply to Republicans. And what must be in the water? I'm sorry, for anyone to think that Mark Sanford, and good call to Stacey Bartrow, she's not going to let anybody forget what that dumbass did.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she talked about it, and then she said, remember, he's the dude that did this. So kudos to her.
He did.
And and I don't know what drugs they're giving him, but I was really listening to your unit of measurement there, the Park length or whatever.
Yeah, the plank length.
Plank length, yeah. What have you been smoking, Charlie?
Can a guy just think something's fascinating? Is that the world you live in? All right, Chuck, I appreciate it, man. Let's go to Brian in Gaffney. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, Charlie, I was wanting to ask about Russell Fry.
Yeah.
How could anybody take Russell Fry seriously if he's running for Senate and Congress at the same time?
That's an issue. That's a real issue with Russell Fry.
What does he really want?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What does he really want?
Well, it sounds like power. Well, wait, here's what he wants. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be able to run for Senate, and if that doesn't work out, then he's going to keep his job in the House.
I think we should drop him right away.
There you go. I appreciate it, Brian. Now, there is still the little matter of Darlene Graham, because there was a rule passed. You know what? I'll save this till the next segment because you need to hear it. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, so we had the question about whether or not Darlene Graham Nardone was even eligible to run for the Senate in South Carolina. Because a few weeks ago, the South Carolina GOP, they decided that they were going to have new rules regarding who is eligible to be a candidate in South Carolina. Now, normally they would just do this, register Republicans. But since we don't register as Republicans here in South Carolina, they said they had to find another way around it. So the rules that they got together, they reconvened the convention. They brought in the ECs from all over the state, and they got them together, and they voted on this rules package for eligible candidates, Republican candidates. And the rule was that you had to have voted in 2 out of the last 3 statewide primaries. Okay? 2 out of the 3 of the 2 out of the last 3 statewide primaries. Darlene Graham did not do that. She did not do that. She voted in a runoff election, I think in 25. It was whenever Katrina, I think it might be 2024, when Katrina Shealy was in that runoff. So she ran in that election. And what we heard, she contributed to Katrina Shealy. But also, she voted in the last primary. Well, a runoff election is not a primary. It's not a statewide primary. So Darlene Graham Nardone has not met the eligibility requirements to run for the Senate. Now, hold on, because also in that rules package that they passed in Columbia at the reconvening of the South Carolina GOP, they also said if you have not done this, then you can get a special waiver from the State Executive Committee. Okay. That's how she's going to be able to run. Now, from what I've been kind of keeping an eye on this, and I haven't seen anything about a meeting of the State Executive Committee on Darlene Graham Nardone to run in this election. In fact, to date, she has not filed. Now, she is a sitting senator from South Carolina. She's there, but she just hasn't filed to run coming up. Okay, so here's the thing, though. A lot of people are wondering if this is going to happen. Of course it's going to happen. Of course this is going to happen. Do you think that the State Executive Committee, I mean, think about this for just a second. Do you think they're going to get together and they're going to say, no, I'm sorry, Darlene Graham. I'm sorry. You're not eligible to run. Of course they're going to say yes. Of course, first of all, sitting senator. Second of all, Lindsey Graham's sister. Do you think any of these ECs are going to be one of the ECs that votes against Lindsey Graham's sister? No. Absolutely not. So, but the weird thing was that we heard she was just going to be a placeholder. She's going to be the interim senator. Not just me. That's what everybody heard. The GOP, the national organization, the South Carolina GOP, everybody heard that. Well, Henry McMaster is just going to appoint this woman, and in honor, it was called a widow's succession. In honor of Lindsey Graham, he's going to appoint his sister as the senator. And then whoever wins the primary goes on to win the election, going to be sworn in January 2nd or 3rd. They're going to be the senator then. But then she decided, from what we hear at President Trump's urging, that she was going to run this. Now, this was weird because we also heard that Russell Fry was going to be the endorsee of Donald Trump. So that had to be a bit of a rug being pulled out from under you. So now Trump is, and my big question is, because remember, the first thing she has done in Congress, and I believe this, or in the Senate, I believe this happened yesterday, she signed on as a co-sponsor of the Save America Act. Okay, so she has done that. But the big question is going to be, how are you going to get there? How are they going to get this act passed? We've got to do something about people illegally voting in this country, and I don't see anything going forward that's actually going to prevent any of that. So, hey, Charlie, would they make the same concessions for me? No. No. They would not make the same concessions for you. Charlie, this is not a monarchy. You can't pass the crown to your little sister. Well, technically, in this case, to fulfill, because that's what the state requires. The state requires the governor to appoint a senator until we can have a special election. In that case, yes, that's exactly what you can do. And that's exactly what happened. Charlie, we were being lied to about a placeholder. Yeah. Well, let me ask you something. I don't know if we were being lied to at the time or if we're being lied to now. Charlie, why does Darlene get Lindsay's war chest? Well, because that's what her staff can determine. They can determine where that money goes. And do you think, and other, I'm not really sure who's in charge of all of that because it's in Lindsey Graham's campaign war chest. It's the campaign. The campaign is going to decide where that money goes because they can legally. I mean, that's part of their job. Charlie, I don't understand how they can make her the widow because she's the, no, it's just called the widow's succession. It doesn't actually have to be a widow. It could be a sister. It could be a brother. It could be a mother. It could be a father. It's just called the widow's succession. That's all it is. Charlie Fry is a Myrtle Beach chamber lackey. Oh, okay. Let's go to, and that's the thing. I don't know much about Myrtle Beach politics. Let's go to Ryan in Greenville. Ryan, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. How are you?
I'm good. What's up, man?
Yeah. So I'm actually one of the election watcher officials coming up for this August 11th, and just wanted to encourage everyone who's eligible to definitely show up and vote, but also to check their precinct locations. Because in Greenville and Spartanburg, more than half of all locations have been changed.
Oh, my goodness.
Due to schools starting. So they just announced that today, actually. It's online, but over half of the location precincts have changed overnight. So encouraging people just to verify their location, to vote, and also to tune in to the debate on Monday, August 3rd. We'll see if Darlene shows up, but hopefully she will.
Has anybody actually
No
confirmed?
one's confirmed.
Okay. All right.
They've only confirmed that it's August 3rd, Monday night, 7 p.m. out of Columbia. That's all the information I have.
Okay. But hey, Ryan, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So keep that in mind. August the 11th, there's a real good chance that because school is starting back in some places that day, just about everywhere. Yeah. You guys need to make sure that you know exactly where you're going to go vote. If you need to early vote, well, we'll give you all this information a little bit closer, but that's coming up pretty quickly. All right, we'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Keeping Carolina conservative. It's the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones. We'll talk to Roger in Taylor's. How you doing, Raj?
Dr. Hole-in-One Charlie.
That's me, baby.
Great.
What's up, man?
I'm doing great, and we need this little bit of rain that we're getting.
Yeah,
Truly need it.
absolutely.
You know, it wasn't long back. I was telling JJ this, and by the way, he can take a joke because I was joking with him on the telephone. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't long back. I told you I was going to run for that seat,
Right.
and I was going to let you be my campaign manager.
Yeah.
And our slogan was going to be, "It's my turn."
Yeah. Oh, boy, how prophetic was that?
It's my turn to get rich.
Yeah.
And I was telling JJ, I think Lindsay's sister stole that from us.
She
We should have copyrighted.
stole our opportunity to get rich. It's my turn. You're right about that. But a lot of people are seeing this as just a coronation.
Well, it's if she gets that war chest, and I was really surprised that they said Lindsay's what his worth was.
Yeah.
And he's got to have a trust or something like that. But these politicians, if he's got $20 million sitting in his war chest when he retires, he can donate that to his own foundation and then start paying himself. He can pay his. So that
Sure.
money they get, and this may be a way for her to get that money, but it's not my turn now. It's her turn.
Yeah.
So we might have to wait till the next one. But Charlie, I tell you what I'd love to see. Because age here lately is playing, a little bit with these politicians. I'd love for Norman to announce that he's going to bring Adam Morgan on as his chief of staff and groom him.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to run for 6 years, and that's it. And groom him. I honestly believe that Adam Morgan's an honest person and is true Freedom Caucus type. Now, how long will that last? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that you change him. But I would love to hear somebody do that, and to give us the satisfaction. Okay, he's only doing it from one go around. We're getting this next guy ready, and the money that he can raise would go into Morgan's campaign in 6 years.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I tell you what, I would love to see that. I appreciate it, Roger. Thank you. Let's go to John in Waynesville. What's going on, John?
Hey, sir. Yeah, I want to talk about something that Tucker Carlson was talking about recently, and it pertains to Lindsey Graham, and that is that the neocons, they want this war with Russia, and it's not just about the resources, he was saying. A lot of people believe it was over their resources and things like that. But he strongly believes, and I really agree with his viewpoints, is that these neocons and these war industrial complex, they want to war against Russia, but also the neocons cannot stand the fact that they're a Christian nation, and they're an Orthodox Christian nation, and Putin is trying to preserve that, and so they are trying to destroy Russia for a spiritual reason, as well as the resources that they possess. And I really strongly believe, Charlie, that his viewpoints, Tucker Carlson, people can say what they want about him. He's digging into a lot of deep things that people are not digging into. And this is causing the United States problem, and it's bringing us towards war with Russia. And they want that.
I don't think that's going to happen, John. I don't think we're going into war with Russia. I know we were helping Ukraine, but I don't believe not under this president. I guarantee it. Yeah, no, I think Tucker Carlson, a lot of these people, you can put Candace Owens in there. You can put Marjorie Taylor Greene. Some of these people, they've just gone, I don't know what happened. Even Megyn Kelly. All of a sudden, they just seem like, flip the switch. I no longer like Donald Trump. I mean, when Tucker Carlson says that Donald Trump is the Antichrist, yeah, and you're still going to listen? I quit listening to Tucker Carlson. I quit subscribing to his network. never have paid attention to Candace Owens or Megyn Kelly or Marjorie Taylor Greene for that matter. So, yeah, some of these people have absolutely gone off the deep end. Well, I want you to listen to this. Larry Kudlow, who I really like, he it's not often that you see somebody on the news really giving it to the Republicans, especially on Fox Business News. You rarely see this. But what he did over on Fox News to Jim Lankford was absolutely classic. I love this. Listen.
You, the leadership in both houses, are bungling everything, sir. I say that with all due respect, and we are personal friends. It's not but you're bungling everything. Nothing is getting done. Your messaging is non-existent. You've lost your swag, your swagger, your riz, or whatever the young people say. No one knows what the heck you're doing, sir. They have no idea.
Yeah, you're welcome. And this is part of the challenge we've got with all of our media friends out there that continue to be able to beat up on Republicans and say Republicans are all the problem. But apparently the socialist Democrats in New York City, they seem to be perfect because most conservative media right now is beating up.
That's called a straw man argument, Representative Lankford.
Up on Republicans and just ignoring the socialists who are running rampant all over the country. So I look back on what happened with the One Big Beautiful Bill. I look at the housing bill we just passed. There's a lot of things that are going on that are good, and I understand.
Nobody has attacked Mondami more than I have, for heaven's sake. That isn't the point.
I wasn't saying that just about you. I was
saying
the
the point is that you have such a logjam in the Senate. The Senate, during this term, the Senate has only sent the president 40 bills, under 40 bills. That's it. And until we do something about the filibuster in one way or another, either do away with it or go back to the standing filibuster, nothing is going to get done. If we'd have gone back to the standing filibuster when we wanted to, we'd have the Save America Act by now. Oh, no, we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, my goodness, it's Friday. We'll see you tomorrow. Great Friday. Y'all have a lovely evening. We love you to pieces. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.